Hello, everyone. Let's talk about the unconfirmed Google update, May 2023, or was it something else? Was this an unconfirmed update, or are we looking at something else? Here's my data, what I saw during the shakeup. So this particular publication was published May 5th, 2023, and it talks about a Google early May search algo unconfirmed update heats up. So May 1st through May 4th, we started to see an increase of chatter. People talking about in SEO groups, seeing changes in their keyword rankings, what always alerts us to either a Google update or some type of SERP change is happening. Now, for me in particular, I saw May 5th as the defining day because that is the day I realized rankings went down. Since I felt the tremor on May 5th, I suspected there was some type of a change or rollout May 1st through 4th. Here is what it looked like, and this is what I saw. Now, what makes this one a whole lot different is this is a local site. So the keywords that are tracking have keywords plus city modifiers. Typically, during a Google update, I do not see drops in keywords with city modifiers. Typically, if we see drops, it's more on the affiliate side of national keywords, keywords without city modifiers. So this one was different in the way that not only was local being affected, but we also saw the affiliate side being affected. And the dates that my sites that I monitor were affected were May 5th through May 8th. This is what it looked like in the keyword tracker. So you can see I lost positions, but not on every page, just some pages. However, you can see it was most of the pages, and I was down 20, 30, 60, 70, 80 positions on different sites. However, what made this particular SERP change different is every day at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, rankings would plummet across the board, across hundreds of sites that I monitor. However, what made it different is one, we were going down one by one, starting at 2 p.m., lasting until about 8 p.m. until all sites were affected. What was even more interesting is every morning at 8 a.m. when I would check, all rankings had returned. And this is what we would see. You see all of the green arrows? I gained 96 positions, 95 positions, 92 positions. So whatever I dropped was then returned. And this pattern continued May 5th through May 8th. So 3 nights in a row, we dropped in positions, only to gain all of the positions again by 8 a.m. We probably gained before 8 a.m., but I wasn't going to wake up any earlier than that to check. So it's by 8 a.m. that I noticed everything had restored. Now, I checked rankings until midnight of the night before, and as of midnight, the rankings had not returned. So they're returning somewhere in the window of 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. This is not typical update behavior. I have never seen an update where my sites lose 100 positions, 30 positions, whatever positions they lost, only to regain by the time I woke up. What was even more interesting is I have seen this behavior before, but only one night. I've never seen it 3 nights in a row. So there are several things making this particular shift in the algo very different and interesting from any of the other shifts. Part of that is local was affected. So sites across the board were affected, whether it was local businesses, whether it was affiliate going after national terms, whether it was e-com sites. Across the board, they lost their positions and ranking overnight, only to gain all of it back in the morning. It was across the board. I have never seen this in an update. Usually some sites are spared while others are not. I have never seen local hit as hard as e-com or as hard as affiliate type sites. This was the first time that all sites were hit equally. Every day at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, it would begin to roll out so that we lost all of the positions on the sites that we are monitoring. By morning, the rankings returned. This is inconsistent with any other update I have ever seen. The behavior is not consistent with a Google update. And again, I just want to reiterate, I saw this 3 nights in a row before the behavior stopped. Another characteristic was indexing slowed down, or there was absolutely no indexing. So sites that normally have very good consistent indexing saw no indexing or slowed indexing during this time. That means they would publish pages and they just wouldn't index in the normal time frame that they would index, which led me to believe that indexing was either slowed or completely turned off during this change. Now, bot activity, this is interesting, was not consistent of a Google update. Now, you guys might remember my friend Carolyn Holzman. She has a channel here on YouTube called Crawl No Crawl. She is the indexation expert that I go to every time I see a change in rankings or SERPs. And I ask her the same question every time. What does the bot activity tell you? What are you seeing? And she said it's not consistent with a Google update. We're not seeing the same patterns, or she's not seeing the same patterns that she would normally see. So here's where it gets interesting. Few positions were lost. Now, this is regarding my data, not data across the world, but my data. I did lose a few positions, but not many. And what does this mean? So I'm still analyzing the data. I'm trying to pinpoint across every single site of hundreds of sites what was lost, what pages, how many positions did they lose. It was such a slight change for any of the sites that I am monitoring this time that it's not easy to pinpoint, and I'm going to have to analyze the data for another few weeks before I'm able to even draw a conclusion. And the SERPs still seem like they're a bit choppy. I don't even know if whatever change happened is over, or if we're going to continue to feel tremors or aftershocks of whatever this is. So every update that we have, whether it's a confirmed Google update, an unconfirmed Google update, or a slight change, or maybe something sometimes even breaks in Google, we see changes in the traffic to our sites. We see keywords going down, coming up. But every update turns the dial for on-page optimization. Now, what do I mean by that exactly? So every change in the SERPs that we have, every update, we are focusing on-page and how that has shifted from update to update or change to change. And different factors become more important. So it used to be in the good old days where we would do on-page optimization and be done with it. Those days are over. Now, when we have slight SERP adjustments or unconfirmed updates or updates that are confirmed, every single time the data shows me on-page optimization is being targeted like dials on a radio. Certain factors are being turned down and certain factors are being turned up. And if you're not clued in to what factors are being turned up, you're not going to be able to adjust your site to overcome the latest Google update or algo change. This means it's more important than ever to keep your ear to the ground, so to speak, and to realize with every update, something new is dialed down and something new is dialed up. This is a complete change of how we've been doing on-page SEO in the past. What used to work may not work as well today. Whatever I focused on a year ago, whatever I focused on 2 years ago, is not the main focus of today's on-page SEO. Always update the sites on page. That is the lesson that we're going to learn with all of the changes and all of the Google updates. We're constantly having the dials changed. Because a dial is turned down, it doesn't mean we have to go back and remove work, but it means when a dial is turned up, we better go and update that portion of the on-page to meet the new standards. I study the factors that change with every single update so that I can stay ahead of the curve, so to speak, or maybe not even ahead of the curve, but as close to the curve as I can to make the changes across the board when needed. So something happened in May that's not been confirmed. It's either a slight change or an unconfirmed Google update. The data isn't there for me to call it a Google update. However, at any point, the data can change and I can say, oh, yes, that was an update. For right now, I'm not comfortable calling an update. I even called in my friend Carolyn to get her input on it. She wasn't finding the data to call it an update. However, there does seem to be a slight change in factors that happened. And for us to figure out exactly what factors, we've got to analyze the data. There's just no way around it. So stay tuned to the rest of this video as to what I find or don't find, and stay vigilant. Remember, updates are happening more often, more ever than before, and they are targeting specific on-page factors every single time the algo changes. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.